I honestly still really enjoy this movie. First one sucked and was boring and had a lot of problematic lines. This one, still really good. Though there is this random dude named Kino that's obviously, he doesn't serve much to the plot. Like, there's two scenes that he helps, but that's it. Honestly, this movie could have been longer because I really enjoyed it. And I think I would have liked it longer. He helps them find their lair, which obviously leads to a later scene because Raph gets kidnapped when Kino runs away like Raph tells him to. And he stops a girl from getting kidnapped by Shredder when he randomly appears. And that's all he really does. He does have like one questionable line that just, it's like early on. This is how we're introduced to this character, where he flirts with these girls and they reject him, so obviously he responds by calling them fat. He's like, hey, who wants to ride on a motorcycle with me? You'll be pretty lucky to ride with me. Just sounded like a very douchebag thing to say. And they're like, dream on, dweeb. So he's like, well, if I was gonna dream, I would dream of something thinner. And then he just laughs like an asshole. But he doesn't have a big role in this movie. Just appears every now and then. I really don't understand why he was added. Casey Jones isn't in this movie. But yeah, the Ninja Turtles were pretty fun to watch in this one. Donnie and Leo have a bit more personality. Leo's a bit more of a dick in this movie. Like, he sometimes is in other media. Splinter does a few things here and there. They add something in this movie. In the previous movie, when the Turtles would get into fights, Splinter would just be like, stop it. Like a stern dad. And in this one, he makes them do stuff like, oh, you're fighting? Go do 10 backflips. And that's a thing throughout this movie. I think it happens 3 or 4 times. I'm pretty sure it doesn't return in the third movie because Splinter's barely in that one. I don't even think he is in that one. If he does, he has a very small role. It's not like he has giant roles in this movie or even in the first movie. But I don't really remember him at all in the third movie. But that movie isn't really memorable at all anyway. Of course, Shredder returns. When I was a kid, I didn't realize he was supposed to die in the first movie, but no, it was obvious. He fell in a dumpster and Casey Jones turned it on pretending it was an accident. Like, yeah, he was clearly supposed to die in the first movie, but he's still alive in this one. But they kill him off for good in this one. Because in the next movie, I'm pretty sure it's just a random dude. And not Shredder, because he's officially dead in this one. He sticks his hand out one last time. And then it falls down, and they're like, yep, he's dead. Fun fact, that Super Shredder is played by Kevin Nash, the wrestler. I also thought that fight was anticlimactic. Like, oh my god, it's a badass, giant, super tall Shredder that's destroying everything. Oh, he just kind of kills himself from destroying all the stuff, and it's not even very long either. Only lasts a few seconds. Very anticlimactic. And then, of course, obviously I had to talk about it. Tokka and Razor. A lot of people didn't like that it was 2 made-up characters instead of, one of the many, many villains in the comics and the shows and all the other stuff that there was available at the time. There's, of course, that Fly guy. I don't remember his name. There's the Rat King. Most popular, Bebop and Rocksteady. But instead, they just did a snapping turtle and a wolf. But the costumes are amazing, and they were pretty entertaining for the few scenes they were in. I don't understand why people hated them so much. It's a pretty decent, thing. And I still think this movie holds up pretty well. It's pretty entertaining. And I was never bored during this movie, unlike the first movie, where it was just a drag to watch and I got on my phone halfway through and just kind of watched it while I was on my phone. This movie's really good. I don't think I'm going to like the third one, though. Can't say I think I'm going to like it because I didn't like it when I was a kid. Of course, I will be watching the animated one next, the 2007 version. And I'm debating watching the other two. I don't know what the first one's on. I know it's on something though. And the second one's on Prime. So I might watch them. Or I might just move on to the Rambo movies because I have them on my list on HBO right now. Because the newer ones, they have their moments, but I was never a big fan of those ones.